Hey, John here again. So I made these gates a good decade ago, about 10 years ago. I just recently added these tensioners here, put a little metal there. But these gates, I made with angle, I mean square tubing and welded them up and all that. They used to be here originally, along with a bunch of, it was a chain link fence, and then one October everything got knocked down by trees. Well, the gates weren't affected, but the fence over here on the left over there was affected. Everything got crushed. So I built this wooden fence. I just got to lean up there against now. 10 years later, the wooden fence is starting to get water damage and infested. And so I put these gates back up with the post. I left the 6x6 post there. These gates originally had just regular, terminal posts like the one on the gate there, but I think these are more heavy duty, and I welded these brackets back on from the wooden gate. But anyways, that's I just wanted to point out these gates here cost you, I don't know, anywhere from 50 to maybe 80 bucks, depends on how wide you are. But as far as homemade gates go, and you don't have a welder to make bigger gates like this, I found this stuff at Home Depot. It's only $5 for an angle, but it makes life a lot easier. So I got to make another gate down the way here. I'll show you in a second. I'll show you what I got. Alright, so this wooden, I can't take the wooden posts out and wooden railings out yet. I just got them kind of leaning up against there. I did plant all the framework for the chain link fence there that I'm gonna replace the wood with, but I can't take the wood down yet because my dogs, So I just got everything leaning up against there. But here's what I'm talking about. This gate. I want to make a gate here, and again, it costs. I don't know, it's going to be cheaper to make your own gate is what I'm getting at. So I just want to show how easy it is to make your own gate. This is like 40, I got to measure it again, a gate. And I planted these poles knowing I was going to build my own gate, so it didn't really matter what the gap is. But if you were to buy a gate, you have to be pretty accurate on planting your posts there, because obviously the gate's only one width, plus your hinges that go on. You got to add another couple inches for them. But so before I take this wood panel out of there, basically I'm going to be making out of top rail posts and these corner brackets. Yeah, so that's about $30, maybe a little bit more on gate hardware. That I forgot how much that bag costs. That's for one gate of hardware. It's got the barrel hinges and all the screws and nuts and bolts, and these were a little pricey, but it eliminates you having to cut or make your own angles and weld them to the bar. These are just clamp type. You find at Home Depot for I think they were $5 a piece though. It's 20 bucks there, and I think it was $10 for that kit, maybe a little more, I don't know, but it's certainly going to be cheaper than buying a gate, because like I said, you can make this gate any size you want. The top rail posts, I'm going to have extra. I had one extra, but I had to go get another one because this gate's a little bit wider. So you do need top rail posts, but I'm going to have extra fence left over for sure, and also extra tension bars there, so I'm going to use them. I'll show you what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to build a quick gate that, like I said, could be any size. That's the beauty of these boogers here. You can make the gate any size you want. Alright, so there's a couple measurements you got to know. So the distance between the gate is 43 inches total. From this pole to that pole is 43 inches. Now you have to subtract 2 inches on this side of the pole for your hinge hardware, and you also have to subtract 2 inches on this side for your open and closer. That thing always gets jammed. So the height I'm not worried about right now. We're just talking about the width here. So if it was 43 minus the 2 inches on each side is 4 inches. So we're down to 39 inches. Okay, now another measurement you have to worry about is this little angle thing here. It slips onto the pipe 2 inches, but you're not worried about that. It leaves 1.5 inches. It won't go all the way to the corner, obviously, because you got 2 pipes coming in there. So there's 1.5 inches left on each side, but we're just worried about the You know, we're just doing the horizontal right now. So there's 1.5 inches on each side. So that's another 3 inches. So we were down to 39 inches. You have to cut your pole, basically, long story short, you have to cut this bugger 36 inches to fit into a 43-inch hole, and you'll see why in a second. Like I said, there's 2 inches on each side for your gate hardware, and then another 1.5 inches times 2, because you know you got 2 of them, is 3 inches. That's why. That's all you need to know. It's pretty simple stuff. You're gonna know, and don't worry about it. If you mess it up, you're gonna be long, and your gate ain't gonna fit. So you just take this stuff apart and recut it. So if I'm being a little confusing, I wouldn't sweat it too bad, because you're not going to be cutting it short. I mean, you could cut it short, but if you didn't know to take these subtractions, you're going to be long, and you'll figure it out. But I'm just letting you know there's some subtractions. Oh, before I bolt it together, the actual fence is 48 inches tall. Now, because we don't have any, the only subtraction you need to do here on the vertical side is just the 1.5 inches for each corner post, which is 3 inches. So if you got 48, you know, your fence might be 36. It depends on what your fence is as far as how long this is. Mine's a 48-foot high fence, so you have to take the 3 inches off where this pipe's going to fit in. Forgot to mention that. So okay, one thing to note here: just start with the center nut and bolt in the angle iron, because that's going to cinch both of these sides down. If you start on one side or the other and there's a burr on one of these poles from cutting it, I know from past experience building these, this isn't my first time building these, they're only cast aluminum, they will crack. So let's tighten the center one down first, and that cinches both sides down evenly. Then you can tighten them. You don't have to over tighten these, just a little bit more than snug them up, but I just know that if you start on one side or the other, they will get a little bit deformed and they could crack. So put the center in. So I just cut out a piece of fence there, mesh or whatever you call it, fabric. It's a little bit bigger, Bodie. It's a little bit bigger than this, because you got to stretch it. So you use one of these tension bars. I cut that to 43 to fit inside here, and then I took one tension bar, gave me 6 of these little J hooks I made. Just bent them up. You'll see where they go in a second, but let me stretch that fence over and show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so like I said, cut this a little bit long. But I don't know exactly where I'm gonna cut. Alright, so one homemade gate done. So what are the benefits to making your own gate as opposed to buying one? It's a little cheaper, I guess, but especially if you have leftover fence parts, top rails, and you know, the wire fence there, and I had some hardware left over, so it was way cheaper for me to make it. But more importantly, in case you've got something underneath where you can't plant your post in a particular spot for a traditional gate that's already built, because if you do that, those poles have to be a certain distance apart, because your gate is already made. And in this case, there is a sewer line that runs underneath here, or you might have a tree or anything, so you can make your post any size you want. You can make your gate any size you want as far as width. So that's one benefit. Anyways, that's the end result there. Got a couple hours into it, and I don't know how much money. I had the fence, The gate hardware I think was 20 bucks. I actually ended up I had the hinges, but I had to get that clasp. They don't sell the clasp alone, at least not at Home Depot. I had to buy it $20. I don't know, I think it was $20, whatever it was. And I had some top rail left. And these corner brackets are pretty goddamn expensive, $5 a piece, so that's 20 bucks there. So basically under 50 bucks you can build one. Again, if you have leftover parts, it's going to be cheaper, but it may be cheaper in the short run to buy a gate that's already put together. I think they run anywhere from 80 to 100 bucks. I'm not even positive on that, but again, if you're going to run into issues where you need to plant your posts, then you could build your own. Boom, there you go. Easy to do.